And this is another edition of DT Live. I hope everybody is doing well this evening. For those of you that are hanging out in the YouTube chat, give me a yay or a nay as far as audio. Because obviously I'm not monitoring the audio, so I'm not actually listening to what you guys are listening to as far as through the YouTube stream. But previewing it just for a second here sounded to me like it is okay. Alright. So the live stream tonight is going to be about Riot. Riot is a messaging platform. It is very similar actually to Discord in that it offers you the ability to do just standard text chat. You know, you can throw emojis and images and whatever in the chat. Again, very similar to what you do in a standard Discord channel. It also allows you to do voice chat, very similar to how you voice chat in Discord, especially during games, you know, where you get a group of people together in a voice channel, and that way you can talk to each other in game. Riot allows that. Riot also allows you to do video calls, so you can do a video call with a friend or a family member. But Riot also is, Riot is also really neat because it supports multiple protocols. The main protocol is a protocol called Matrix, which is an open source protocol, and it's decentralized. It allows you to encrypt messages as well. It also does allow you to connect to IRC and use IRC for a protocol as well. So that is pretty cool because I have an IRC channel and I can use Riot to join various Matrix channels, but I can also use Riot at the same time to connect to IRC channels, maybe over on the freenode network, so I can join DistroTube over on the freenode network. Oh, that's going to be the topic for this evening. Let me take a look at the YouTube chat. There's quite a few of you guys already here. So let me see if I can catch up on some of the chat. Alright, so we had some early questions here, probably before the stream started, about the Awesome Window Manager. What's the best guide for Awesome? If you're looking for like technical support for Awesome, the best guide for Awesome is to read the Awesome Window Manager website. It's going to be extremely detailed. It's going to tell you everything there is to know about the Awesome Window Manager and the various Lua libraries, and you know, it gets really, really detailed. If that's what you're after, that's the best source. If you're just looking for inspiration as far as what you can do with the Awesome Window Manager, there's tons of YouTube videos about Awesome. I've made videos about Awesome. Check out the r/Unix porn website for screenshots. It'll give you some idea of what you can do with the Awesome Window Manager if that's what you're after. Alright, Federated BS always blows. So you're talking about things like Mastodon. I actually love Mastodon. I have had absolutely no complaints with Mastodon. So I'm not sure. Yes, it's federated. It's, you know, decentralized. You know, you got a million instances of Mastodon out there, but it doesn't matter because you can follow anybody on any instance. I think now they've gotten to the point where you can even move instances. Like if you're on one instance, but you want to go ahead and sign up to another, I think you can import all of the people that you follow. I think it allows that now, where it didn't a couple of years back. Yeah, now we have sound all the time, not like Discord dropping out and suddenly things get quiet. Yeah, that's one of the things with Discord. Now, obviously, Riot's going to be free and open source software, so that's the big plus for those of us that something like that matters. But the other thing is I have had some problems with Discord as far as audio. On Linux, Discord audio is kind of flaky. Like if you can go to a voice channel on Discord, and sometimes all you hear is static in the headphones. And it'll be like that for like 5-10 minutes, and then it'll suddenly go away. You didn't do anything. You didn't play with any settings. But all of a sudden, then the audio is crystal clear. Yeah, it's very weird. Discord definitely is kind of buggy on Linux. Alright, yeah, the effing manual is the best source for information. Yes, I agree. RTFM, read the effing manual. That's always good advice. Yay on the audio, lots of yays. All right. I'm glad I missed some of the chat here. I'm going to skip ahead. Let's see. Yeah, it's easy to say drop Discord. I have to use Discord to communicate lead with my classmates. Yeah. Well, if you have to use it, you have to use it. I don't have to use it. Although I probably will still keep Discord on my system because, like, every now and then I'll do a gaming live stream with the community. And while I would love to be able to tell you guys to join me on a piece of free and open source software like Riot, I know pretty much all of you guys have Discord installed. So why not use it for the voice chat? And for a gaming live stream, I mean, we're streaming on YouTube, which is not free and open source. Most of the time, we're going to play proprietary games that are on a proprietary platform like Steam. So I'll just use Discord for that, probably. You're being forced to use Zoom for online classes. Yeah, Zoom is a good platform, though. I mean, if you have to use it, at least it works. I wouldn't complain about what you have to do at school or work, though. I mean, I've complained about things I've had to do at workplaces before, you know, having to use evil things like Windows, Office 365, and things like that. But hey, you know, if you're getting paid to use it, use it. Yeah, have you tried Linux on a Ryzen system? I have not, if that question was to me. I'm using Linux on a Threadripper. My main production machine is a Threadripper here. All right, well, we've waited long enough. Hopefully, everybody that was going to join the stream, I tried to give you guys a little bit of a heads up about 30 minutes or so before streaming. I sent out the notification. So let's briefly discuss what Riot is here. So, Riot is, again, it's a messaging platform. It allows you to communicate with other people. It is, according to their website here, a universal, secure chat app entirely under your control. They have a variety of different clients, desktop clients, including a desktop Linux client, and of course you can get it on your mobile devices. I actually haven't installed it on my Android phone yet. I should, though. I have the Discord mobile client, and I probably would rather use Riot on my phone, especially because typically if I'm going to do Discord on my phone, it's usually like a video call to a friend or a family member. And for something like that, yeah, I would much prefer something like Riot that's free and open source software. Discord, I don't mind doing on my main production machine during streaming because nothing's private anyway. I'm streaming it to YouTube in that case, so it really doesn't matter as far as the chat client I use. It is available in over 25 languages. That is Riot. By the way, the website for Riot is riot.im. And you can see it was made for Matrix. The Matrix protocol is the new standard for open, decentralized communication. And if you go to matrix.org, you can read about the Matrix protocol a little bit. It's an open source project that publishes the Matrix Open Standard for secure, decentralized, real-time communication, and it's licensed under the Apache license. So that's good that it's licensed under a free license. And let me switch scenes here, and I will briefly show you the client here. So this is Riot running on my desktop here. Switch scenes here. So little cleaner view here. So when you first log into Riot, it actually looks very similar to Discord, right? You have your direct messages and invites and rooms all listed in this column over here. Of course, the messages themselves of the room that you're in will be in the center. And then to the far right here, you have a column of everybody that's actually in the room. This room here, by the way, is the DistroTube channel on the freenode network. So again, it does allow you to connect to IRC channels. Typically, though, you connect to these channels that are using the Matrix protocol, such as this Arch Linux channel, which I think right now, it has 1 million people in it. Yeah, it's got like 2,300 people, this Arch Linux channel. It's like one of the biggest channels when you go to search for stuff on Riot here. So you can explore rooms here. This may take a second for it to come up. And then we'll search for some other rooms. But if I do a search, I think I did a search for Linux, and that's where I got the Arch Linux room. Yeah, GNU Linux lovers, I think I subscribed to that or joined to that. Yeah, 5,400 people are in the GNU Linux lovers room. Arch Linux, there's 3,100 people in the Arch Linux room. And there is the Arch Linux Challenge room, which is the biggest room, 7,194, at least the biggest room for the Linux search term. So anyway, you just find a room, you have multiple rooms, you can just click join and then you're joined to that room. And you could switch. Right now I'm in the Arch Linux room. I could go to the GNU Linux lovers room. If I wanted to private message somebody, you know, you can do that. But we wanted to do a voice chat, we could just join a voice channel. If we want to do a video chat, then you just click down here. It says video call right here. I can't demonstrate that though, because anything with video, right now my camera is being used obviously to do this. So clicking on this would do nothing here while I'm streaming. That's a little bit of the client. Very clean client, very simple. If you've ever used Discord, you're going to just be right at home in Riot, as most of the settings and everything are all in kind of the same place. It's kind of weird how very, very similar Riot is compared to Discord. Got my coffee here this evening. And it is storming a little bit here, so I hope the connection and everything is good. Some pretty severe storms are going on today here. It's like a second round of really nasty weather that's come through in the last week. About a week ago, I know many of you guys know that we had a tornado here in the city that I live in. A few hundred homes were damaged. Luckily, everything was good here. Most of the damage was about 3 or 4 miles away from where I'm at. All right. Yeah, it kind of looks like Telegram. I've never used Telegram, but that's good to know. Someone in the chat was saying it kind of looks like Telegram. I guess I should install Telegram at some point just to take a look at it. It's weird. So many people use Telegram. I've never bothered to install it or try it out. I've never had a real need for it, I guess. That's why I haven't used it. So why not use IRC instead of off-brand Discord? Well, Riot allows you to use the Matrix protocol as well, not just IRC, so you can connect to multiple different protocols, right? Kind of an all-in-one solution. But yes, if all you needed to do was IRC, you could still use Riot for that. But yeah, you probably just want to use a standard IRC client at that point, right? Hex chat, Conversation with a K, or if you prefer a terminal application, IRC or WeChat. Oh. Who hosts the video chat? I've never tried a video call yet in Riot because I haven't had anybody that I could call. I should get one of my family members, on a call one day and try it out. But I'm assuming the person that initiates the call, I would assume. By the way, I mentioned there are some encryption options. You can turn on encryption in Riot. Haven't played with this too much. Let me get back to the desktop here. I don't know what kind of settings I can show on camera. I know I probably shouldn't show you guys security and privacy stuff, but you can change the flare of various communities. This is just notification stuff. I don't think preferences is going to show anything that's that interesting. I know the most interesting thing actually is in the general tab, because the first thing I wanted to do was get this dark theme going. By default, though, this is actually the theme for Riot. And it doesn't look bad. If you like a light theme, it actually is not a bad theme. But for me, I prefer a dark theme. So Gonna tick that back on. If you have a IRC channel and you're trying to connect it to Riot, let me show you how this works. If I explore rooms, and I had to look this up, so give me just a second. There is a certain way that you can, this right here. I'm going to paste this. So you see I have hashtag freenode underscore, then hashtag channel name, matrix.org. Change the hashtag channel name to your channel name. In my case, it would be DistroTube. And this would connect me to DistroTube on the freenode network through matrix.org. And that's how you end up getting your IRC channels to actually appear here inside Riot. It wasn't that hard to find that information. A quick search at IRC on Riot, like the first thing I found in the search results, gave me that command. So, and then from there, what you need to do is you need to connect to the NixServe on freenode. Basically, it appears under your direct messages, your private messages NixServe. And that's where you log in with your freenode password so that you actually get your real account, your freenode account, showing up here in Riot. I hope that made sense. Those of you that have used IRC, I'm sure, know what I was talking about there. If you haven't used IRC, it's not that important. If you've never used IRC, it's not something you're probably going to use at this point. IRC is kind of an old school technology. Really, the only people that still use IRC are Linux and free and open source projects typically host all their support channels on IRC still. IRC is a very old chat protocol, probably the oldest chat protocol that people still use. There's been many new chat protocols appear over the years and die. IRC, though, it's persistent. It's stuck around. IRC is beautiful, though, because IRC is just plain text. You know, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of something like a Discord or a Riot, but I do love me some IRC. As a matter of fact, let's open up my IRC client. Let's open up IRC. And this will automatically connect me to the DistroTube channel on the freenode network as well, but it will look a little different once it finally connects. And this is what it looks like on standard IRC protocol instead of the Matrix protocol, right? The Matrix protocol, of course, would allow you to post links and get link previews, URL previews. You could post images. You could post emojis. We're not getting any of that bloated garbage here in IRC. Oh, no. In IRC, all you're doing is plain text, just beautiful, plain text. Let me kill IRC because IRC is not what this video was about. Yeah, all right, back to the chat here. This wasn't going to be a very lengthy stream tonight. I really just wanted to show you guys what Riot was, and I know pretty much everybody watching this stream has used Discord, and you guys know Discord has some privacy concerns. It's proprietary software, so you really can't trust anything you say or do. Your voice chats are not private. Your text chats are not private. Your video chats are not private. You hope they are, but being proprietary, you know, you have a proprietor, a large corporation behind it. Who knows what the hell they're doing with your data, right? You don't really know. Riot is a better option because it's free and open source software. And it does offer you the opportunity to encrypt your messages if that's what you want to do. Yeah, wouldn't IRC be much lighter than Riot or Discord? Absolutely. It's much, much lighter than Riot or Discord. But it doesn't do what Riot and Discord do. IRC is just for plain text chat. Discord and Riot also offer voice chat, video chat, you know. So yeah, they're much heavier programs because they're doing a lot more. But IRC is more, you know, akin to the Unix philosophy. Do one thing well. If you just want to do a quick text message to somebody, yeah, IRC makes a lot of sense. Do you really need also to have like video conferencing built in to your text chat platform? Probably not. I don't think, you know, you could have these all be separate things, you know. But nowadays we have these big, heavy, bloated programs where people try to bundle so much different stuff into one program. You know, well, I say nowadays, even old programs have done that, right? Emacs has been around forever, and it does the same thing. Yeah, it tries to do everything. But it does seem to be more of a symptom of new software. Things like systemd, for example. That's the big criticism a lot of people have with systemd. Not necessarily myself, but a lot of people is, hey, systemd is not really an init system because it does so much more stuff than just being a init system, right? 95% of the code in systemd has nothing to do with the init processes, right? You have cron jobs and network management and just everything else just all bundled into this one package that is systemd. Get me a sip of my coffee. I feel like I need it tonight. Yeah, Riot isn't the chat network, it's the client. Yeah. Riot is the program, the chat client that you saw on my desktop. Matrix is the protocol that it uses. It can use other protocols, but yeah, that's the standard protocol it uses is Matrix. But again, if you want to connect to something that uses the IRC protocol, it does allow that. I'm sure it allows other protocols too. I think it does. I actually didn't research it further than that. Let's see. They're Electron based, yeah. Well, you can't fault, you know, programs like this for being Electron based. Is Riot Electron based? Which one were you talking about? Were you talking about Discord or Riot? Both, probably. I wonder if I can find the source code for Riot on GitHub. I'm not exactly sure. Since it's a free and open source project, I didn't actually check to see where I could get the source code just in case I wanted to check it out. Switch to my browser here. I was searching for Riot on GitHub. Let's see if this is it. Simple, elegant UI. I don't think that's it. Yeah, that's a bunch of JavaScript stuff, though. That could be it. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's an Electron app. Yeah, this is it. Uses Matrix. Uses Electron. Licensed under the Apache license. Yeah, that's correct. That's the correct license that it uses. So you are correct. It is Electron. Riot is. Yeah, you can use a command line interface client for Matrix if you want. Yeah. Might be something worth checking out at some point. I'm trying to do some CLI stuff with this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like software elitism. It bugs the heck out of me and makes me angry. I can't stand it. That was Ben Fitzpatrick. Let's see. I missed some of the chat here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. I have more problems with normal desktop apps than Electron apps. Well, I would say the same thing. I've never really just had Electron apps that just didn't work or just crashed all the time on me. The big complaint with Electron apps is they're just slow, right? It's not unusual to open up an Electron app like Atom, the text editor, and it takes 10 seconds to load. Seriously, like 10 seconds to load. So, ADT, apologies if this has been asked already. What are your thoughts on XMPP? It's a protocol like Matrix. Many people seem to prefer it due to its minimalism and extensibility. I don't know too much about XMPP. Don't really have any thoughts about it, or Matrix for that matter. I don't use this kind of stuff. I use this kind of stuff because of you guys in real life. I don't use things like Discord or Riot or Zoom or any of this stuff. If I want to communicate with somebody, I'll pick up a phone, or if I know where they live, I'll go see them. Like if it's somebody that I know in real life, and if it's somebody I know on the internet, what's wrong with email? I know I'm just way too old school for stuff like this. A lot of this kind of stuff, it's interesting technology, but I don't know. I just feel like I could be doing other things other than just sitting here watching stuff like a chat screen go by or whatever. Like if I really needed to talk to somebody, I could see using this, but just hanging out here all day, no, I can't do that. So I don't, really get too deep into these various chat protocols. Or a lot of the video streaming protocols, to be honest. Yeah, so Erwin says, Atom is the text editor he uses, and he can confirm it's super slow, yeah. Yeah, VS Code is actually much faster to load than Atom, yeah. And both VS Code and Atom are Electron. Yeah. All right, Chaos Fang says, hey DT, your video on Vim both ruined my life and helped. Okay. I absolutely need Vim key bindings for everything. Yeah, once you get used to it, yeah, it's hard to break that habit. I agree. The Vim key bindings are great. The use case for that repartitioning model was valid, but there was no reason why it should be a system module. It should be its own program. I'm not sure that was morality there to me. Repartitioning, I'm not sure if you meant to direct that to me or what that message is about there, morality. I must have missed maybe some previous messages or something. All right, thanks for the super chat there from DC Pagan. He says, he has no question in particular. He just came to say that he loves me. All right. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, we all know Minecraft is the best messaging platform. I've never played Minecraft. I don't know anything about it. I had somebody the other day ask me, could I do a video on the channel about Minetest, which I guess is a free and open source Minecraft clone. Probably not. That's not my kind of thing. That's not the kind of content you're probably going to get. Not here. I typically game, like pull up a game and actually play a game 5-6 times a year. And for maybe 30 minutes, an hour. I'm not a gamer. Typically, the only time I do that is with you guys and the community. I know a lot of you guys are gamers. Like, oh, let's just get together and game on a live stream. But yeah, I'm not a gamer. Yeah, I finally got my hands on an AMD HP laptop, says Ben. Oh, okay. You gonna put Gen 2 on that, Ben? I know Ben is a big fan of Gen 2. Morality. Let's see. The key advantage of Matrix over something like Discord is that you can run your own Matrix server. Yeah. So it's like IRC. Okay. You don't need to rely on Riot servers. Well, yes, because of course Discord. That's why they call it decentralized and federated. Not Discord, Riot or Matrix. Discord obviously is centralized. Discord is owned by one company, one entity. And yes, they can ban you, delete your channel, do whatever they want, and you have absolutely no say-so over anything. That's why free and open source software is always preferable to proprietary software, though. With free and open source, you have options that you just don't have using proprietary software. I see what you were saying. I forgot I'd made that comment about systemd. Yeah, morality earlier. Yes. I was talking about some of the bloat in systemd, and that was his comment about the modules. Yeah, there's a systemd module that repartitions the hard drive on boot that was enabled by accident. Yeah. Yeah, I figured you would like playing around in Minecraft or Minetest. It suits people who like tinkering with stuff. It eats up free time like crazy. Yeah, I don't have that much free time. Just look at my video library. I don't waste a lot of time. So I've had this channel now for about 2.5 years now. And I want to say I've made about 700 videos at this point. So pretty serious output. For those of you that do not make video content, and that's probably most of you guys watching this, typically my videos, I would say probably average runtime on my videos is probably 20 minutes, Sometimes I try to do shorter topics. I try to vary the length. Sometimes I try to do shorter topics for people that prefer that, and then I really try my best to get videos under 10 minutes for those. It doesn't always work though, because sometimes I ramble on. And then I've got the longer stuff that I do that often runs half an hour or more. And that's pre-recorded stuff. That's not live streaming. Live streams, I always go over an hour, usually an hour and a half. So you're talking, probably on average for those 700 videos, 20 minutes of runtime once I edit them. But seriously, it takes me about 4 hours. 4 hours a day is what I spend on those videos, those 20-minute videos that you guys get. Because the 20 minutes, once I edit it down, I probably recorded 45 minutes worth of video. Then it takes me 2 hours to edit the video. Then I got to create the thumbnail, upload it, figure out what I want to do as far as a title, description, and that's just for YouTube. We're not even discussing if I want to upload it myself to other platforms like Library. If I want to, mention it on social media, there's a lot that goes into this as far as the time commitment. So, yeah, not a lot of downtime for gaming. Appreciate the super chat there from Andrew. He says, "Sup, DT? Chillin', Andrew." Matter of fact, I gave you the correct response. You have to say it twice. So chillin'. But you, unfortunately, did not give me the proper greeting there, Andrew. You're supposed to say, sup. Chillin'. All right. Back to the chat here. Yeah, video and voice chat works pretty well on Matrix right now. Okay. I will give it a try at some point. Again, these are not the kinds of programs I would ever use myself, like in real life. Like I use this kind of stuff for the channel. Like you guys often ask me about Zoom. Hey man, why you use Zoom? It's proprietary. It's because Zoom works. A lot of people use it. Most of you guys know what Zoom is. Zoom has the best audio and video quality of any video conferencing platform that I can get on Linux right now. Yeah, but it's proprietary software and there's some privacy concerns. The only time I use Zoom, guys, is when I'm live streaming on YouTube. That's the only time I use Zoom. So privacy is like not a concern at all. Zero concern for me. I would never use Zoom in real life situations, though, like to chat with friends and family. Hell no. I just pick up a phone, right? I got a couple of super chats here. Sharper. Appreciate that, sir. Just came to say I love you. $5 more than the last guy. Okay. Well, the last guy gave 10 too, so that you're being unfair to Andrew. Although Andrew, still, he should have said sup. Kind of little disappointed in Andrew for that greeting. I appreciate you there, DC Pagan. He says, Sharper, are you challenging me? All right, guys. Keep it civil. Okay, so someone in the chat here was saying he's thinking about just using tmux and tty because almost everything I do is in a terminal. Yeah, it would make sense. If all you do all day long is spend time in a terminal, using a terminal multiplexer would make sense. If you don't want to use a tiling window manager. If you're in a tiling window manager, do you need tmux? No, not really, because tmux is only going to tile you while you're in a terminal. At least a tiling window manager, it gives you that same kind of functionality because all you do is open up terminals. You know, it's going to tile them, but it also allows you to tile other things. If you ever open anything that's not a terminal, and you will occasionally. Of course, there's nothing preventing you from just running tmux and a tiling window manager, but I think it's a little overkill at that point. Huh. All right, back to the chat. Yeah, you dropped Gentoo for Arch in 2009 and you never looked back. That was Alexander. Well, if you dropped Gentoo in 2009, that means you have gone 11 years without the pleasure of being able to say, by the way, I use Arch. I know you got to miss that. You got to miss that. I would miss it. All right. You know what? I haven't actually checked the DistroTube IRC. Yeah, it says DT is on freenode. Yeah, I've been on freenode, guys. I don't hang out in the IRC chat channel that often, unfortunately. But those of you that want to join the DistroTube channel on freenode, go ahead. If you're already hanging out on IRC anyway, go ahead and add that channel. Don't log in that often. You're more likely to catch me there, though, than something like Discord, though. I never go to my Discord channel. Matter of fact, I should probably just delete it, to be honest. I know there's probably people hanging out there thinking one day I'll show up. Probably not. Back to the chat here. Yeah, the super chat. Hey, DT, Rocket Chat is a false alternative to Riot 2. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about Rocket Chat. I've never looked at it. Maybe I should. Let's see, DT, my AMD GPU is the bottleneck in my Ubuntu 1804 system. Is there a recommended NVIDIA card for best Linux compatibility, or just get the best one you can afford? Yeah, get the best one you can afford. All the NVIDIA cards work great. Any of the modern cards. NVIDIA, I'm an AMD user. I don't have any NVIDIA cards here at the moment, but I have used NVIDIA in the past. I'm using AMD now because I want to use free and open source drivers. You have to use the proprietary drivers to get good performance out of your NVIDIA cards. But NVIDIA, with those proprietary drivers, they're better cards. They just are much better. You're going to get, more bang for your buck, really, with NVIDIA, unfortunately. And that pains me to say because I wish I could tell everybody to go buy AMD and it would solve all your problems. That's not quite the case, at least not yet. Let's see. Studio Pac-Man says, you may have answered this already, but what window manager do you currently use? I have no idea. What did I log in to do the stream? I logged into Xmonad. So, Yeah. If you want to call that's what I'm currently using because it happened to be the one I logged in today, yeah, that's fine. Earlier today I was using Spectre WM though. I think the video I did yesterday or the day before, I logged into Qtile to do that one for some reason. So yeah, my current window manager, typically you'll find me in Xmonad or Qtile or Awesome or DWM or Spectre WM here lately. I did log into BSPWM and Herb's Luft WM a couple of days ago just for a few minutes each just to make sure my config still work in those window managers. I also have i3 installed on the system. OpenBox is also installed on the system. Yeah, so there's no point in asking me what my current window manager is. It's a bunch of them. Yeah, what's my favorite tiling window manager? What are you currently on? Another question. I hope that answered your question too. As far as the favorite one, they're all good. I typically like dynamic tilers more than manual tilers. So dynamic tilers would include things like DWM, Awesome, Qtile, Xmonad, Spectre. Manual tilers are things like i3, BSPWM, Herb's Luft. I don't like manual tilers. I mean, I'm okay with them. They're fine, but I prefer dynamic tilers. When we get into multi-monitors, I also prefer the way Xmonad, Spectre, and Qtile do multi-monitors as far as workspaces. You have one group of workspaces on those, rather than a group of workspaces on each monitor. I don't like that. Yeah, Victor says, can you do a video on setting up Polybar? I've been planning on doing that, actually. The only reason I haven't got around to it is because I don't use Polybar that often. Most of the window managers I use on a regular basis, I don't need to use Polybar. Like Qtile and Awesome and DWM all have panels built in. Spectre too. That's some of the ones I'm in most of the time here lately. And the panels that are built into Awesome and Qtile are fantastic. Like you would never replace them with Polybar. Polybar can probably do everything those panels can do, but again, there's no point in... Excuse me guys, I'm getting a phone call. Let me mute that. So unprofessional. I should have just silenced my phone before I started streaming. Yeah, I've been using ZFS for 10 plus years. That was John, yeah. I haven't played around with ZFS much myself. Typically, I'm so... Like, I get stuck in these things where I just do the same thing. What's working for me, you know, stays working for me. So I've been using Extend 4, you know. I know I could try ButterFS and ZFS, and I've you know, tried them on test machines or whatever, but for my main production machine, yeah, I just stick with what's working for me. I know I missed some questions there, guys. I'm sorry. I know we got a lot of chat here. So I'm going to back up just a little bit and see what I missed here. Are there any other window managers you haven't tested yet that you're eyeing for testing or future videos? Not many. I have used most of the ones that are worth looking at as far as that, you know, people could use, like general mass adoption of people. Dang, somebody really needs to get a hold of me. The third time that person has called. I don't know if you guys could hear the phone ringing. All right. But yeah, so every window manager I've spent some time on the channel with, I think like anybody could use, right? I mean, some of them take some config time or whatever. But you know what? I'm going to let that ring. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's the fourth time they're calling. And I've been just hanging up. I'm going to let it ring completely so they can leave me a voicemail. Let's give this a second. I'll drink my coffee. I did get a super chat there. Let me see. Did I miss your chat? Yeah, thanks for the Riot topic. Can you connect to servers outside of freenode on Riot? Yes, there are 8 different IRC networks, I believe, that they allow you to connect to. I don't have the list up, or do I? Let me Google it real quick. Yeah, Riot allows you to use freenode, MozNet, SNUnet, OFTC, GimpNet, Funetic, Ryzen, and Espernet. So there you go. Freenode, of course, is by far the most active network. So all right. Yeah, as far as the window managers, now that I'm not getting distracted by the phone call, they were able to leave a voicemail. Yeah, the only other window managers I could get into now that I haven't covered would be things that are really not for most people. You know, like the Stump WM video I did a few months back. That thing, nobody would use it unless you were a Lisp developer and you really loved Emacs. You're not using that thing. Rat Poison's another one that's just really weird. It's not something very many people would use. You know, trying to live in Emacs itself with EXWM. You know, people ask me about that. Most Emacs users don't do that. So, much less anybody that doesn't use Emacs at all. They would never even consider it. So yeah, I would have to get into some really weird stuff at this point. I've covered pretty much everything that's for general use. As far as the tiling ones, there's some floating window managers I really haven't done much with. I mean, obviously, I spent a lot of time on the channel with OpenBox, especially early on in the channel's history. If I wanted to, I mean, I could do a deep dive into Fluxbox. Fluxbox I've played with years past, and it's okay. OpenBox is better, though. It really, in my opinion. JWM is a good one. It's very similar to OpenBox. It's even faster than OpenBox. It has dynamic menus like OpenBox. So JWM is one I could, you know, kind of do a deep dive into if you guys really wanted to. Really not interested in too many of the other floating window managers, though. I mean, IceWM is okay. FVWM is okay. But I wouldn't want to, you know, spend any real time in them. That's just, you know, me personally. I know many of you guys actually use those window managers and love it, and if it's working for you, great. Yeah, so you join my room, says Adarsh. I hope I pronounced your name right. You joined the room and got a PM from ChanServe. Okay, so that is normal. That is normal. So he's saying he joined DistroTube, the DistroTube channel on freenode here in Riot, and got a direct message from ChanServe. Yes, that is a message from the Chan server on freenode. And why did you get that message? It's because that's going to give you usually some personal information. And this is where you could identify yourself, change your nickname. You could give a password if you're registered on the freenode network. And that's what I did here. That's blacked out. I did my identity and my password so it would log me in, and then I had it delete the message because I knew, you know, I would probably show this screen at some point on tonight's stream, and I didn't want that to still be here. So yes, if you get a message from ChanServe or from NickServe from freenode, yes, that's normal. If you're using IRC. So nothing to worry about there. Well, you make another video about you playing music. Yeah, I've thought about that. Haven't really done anything musical lately. Like I really haven't picked up an instrument in a while. And I've thought about, you know, the other day I was thinking, yeah, I should pull out my recorder or my trombone or something and play a little bit just here at the house. But yeah, maybe I should do something on a video. Skipping some of the chat here, guys. Yeah, Emacs needs a good editor, says Henria. Yeah, Emacs is a fantastic operating system. It just needs a good text editor, right? And a lot of the Emacs fanboys were disappointed that I'm back on Vim. Emacs was fine, though. I mean, if I had to use Emacs, I would be comfortable with it. I didn't hate it. Didn't hate it at all. Actually, there were a lot of things I really liked about it. But you know what? I just find Vim, more comfy. So this is an IRC client. Gumball was asking. It can be. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, Riot actually connects to a different kind of chat protocol called Matrix by default. But you can connect to IRC channels and use the IRC protocol if you want. So all these channels, like this channel right here, GNU Linux Lovers, this is using Matrix, one of the Matrix channels. Same thing with this channel here, Arch Linux. But hashtag DistroTube that you're seeing here, that is the hashtag DistroTube channel on freenode on IRC. So you can connect to multiple protocols through Riot. Yeah, so it's not just an IRC client. It's not really an IRC client at all. It just happens to let you connect to IRC if you really want to. Really, it's, if you need to view Matrix channels and IRC, that's really why this client exists. I don't know, does it allow any other protocols? I should have done more research. I just knew it did the Matrix protocol and the IRC protocol. It probably supports other protocols. I doubt I would find it that quickly. I'm not going to dive through the website here on stream. Let's see. Yeah, DT, I noticed you are doing new release videos a lot recently. Any chance for OpenBSD 6.7? No, probably not. As far as new release videos lately, I've done one or two in the last couple of months. I don't know if that's a lot lately. I mean, I did Endeavor the other day because it was a big release for them. A lot has changed with Endeavor since the last time I looked at it, months ago. It was completely different than the last time I looked at completely different installer, that net installer, and you can choose all the different desktops. Wasn't possible the last time I tried it. So that's why I looked at Endeavor. React OS I'd never looked at on the channel, and it's not even a Linux operating system. So I guess that counts as a distro review. Other than that, I'll take a look at Ubuntu when it comes out in the next week. Just because people will expect it, right? And when Fedora has their big release, I'll take a look at it because people will expect it, but no, I don't. Most of these distros do the same thing anyway. I try to, if I'm going to take a look at something, I'll take a look at the ones that are doing something different. So many of these distributions are nothing but Ubuntu respins or Debian respins or Arch respins. All they do is put a different desktop environment on it, slap a new theme on it, add a nice wallpaper pack. For some of you guys, you love checking all that stuff out. For me personally, I don't find any of those distros compelling. I don't find them interesting at all to review on camera. It's a real chore for me to get through those reviews if I reviewed stuff like that. That's why I don't do them anymore. I quit doing those more than a year, like a year and a half ago. I pretty much stopped doing distro reviews. Yeah, you get one every now and then, like maybe one a month. Sometimes once every 2 months I'll do one. But it's typically something that does interest me. Like I'll see a new distro, or not a new distro, but they're doing something new with their distro, and I was like, you know what, this is worth taking a look at. But just taking a look at everything, nah, there's just too many of them, and most of them do the same thing. Yeah. So Hornalex says, DT, I'm practicing the Bach cello suites on the horn while watching you. Awesome. I love the Bach cello suites. We play them on the trombone as well. I'm pretty good at the first and second cello suites on the trombone. Well, probably not right now. They're I'd have to get back into a little bit better shape. Tough pieces to play, though, on a wind instrument. Because obviously, being written for the cello, you don't have to breathe playing the cello. Or on the trombone or on the horn, yeah. You got to find spots to breathe in some of those long passages. Hey, DT, I can't connect to your room because matrix.org is slow. Okay, so you're trying to connect through Riot and it won't let you? That's unfortunate. Well, that's good to know that that is a problem, though. It's not anything I have control over. If you really wanted to join us on IRC, just open up an IRC client. You have a GUI desktop environment installed. You probably have HexChat installed on your system. You're running Plasma. You have Conversation with a K on your system. So you could just join us on that. Because technically, yes, when you are joining the DistroTube channel on the freenode network through Riot, it is going through Matrix. Yeah, I know that's weird, but you're connecting to IRC through Matrix in Riot. So yeah. And I guess, it's slow and it's not letting everybody in that wants to get in. You won't have that problem though if you just go directly to an IRC client and try to log in there. I missed a couple of super chats here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, play the Foss song on the recorder. That was from Liam. You know what? We might end the show with the Foss song on the recorder. What else did I miss here? Nowo266. Join us and share the software. Okay. Since two of you guys asked for it, I'll definitely pull out the recorder and try to do the free software song to end the stream. Join us now and share. It's such a great song. I don't think anybody ever gets tired of playing that one, though, or singing it. Say what you want to about Richard Stallman, but he really hit it out of the park with that free software song. It's such a catchy tune. All right. Is Brave browser trustable? Yes. And that was from Sneaksy. Okay. People say it takes some data from you. It probably does send some analytics or something, but as far as web browsers, you got to trust somebody. I mean, what are your other options? I mean, let's just completely throw out anything that's proprietary. So Chrome is not an option. Vivaldi is another one that's not an, you got to go with one of the free and open source browsers. Firefox, for me, I trust Firefox. If you want something that's supposed to be even more trustable, Brave, it's Chromium based, but they do all the ad blocking and try to disable all the tracking that so many websites do on you. But also, when you say trustable, are you asking about, are they data mining you? That's probably what you're asking about. I mean, a lot of that still, though, you got to kind of watch what you do on the internet anyway, and the sites you use. I mean, it's not just your browser, it's just the websites you visit. I mean, if you visit any site owned by Google, for example, it doesn't matter what browser you're using, Google's data mining you. It's really hard to get away from being used by some of these big corporations on the internet. It's almost impossible to get away from it, really. All right, so yeah, Luke Smith trusts it. Okay, yeah. Oh, Luke Smith trusts the Brave browser. Yeah. Probably most people do. Brave. Well, I say most people do. When I made my Brave video a couple months back, I get a lot of people leaving hate messages about Brave. You know, posting the same retarded link in the chat over. I had one guy post the same link like 50 times, and Google deleted all of his messages for me. YouTube did, thankfully. And if they hadn't, I would have just banned the guy outright. There's no reason to post the same link 50 times in the comments section, guys. For one thing, if you guys don't know how YouTube works, if you post the exact same message more than once in the comments section on a video, they are going to delete all of your messages because you are spamming. Some people haven't figured that out, because I go to my spam box in the YouTube backend and it's just full of crap. Yeah, Luke is in the chat. Yeah, Luke Smith. Certain alternative home servers for Riot are banned from Matrix node. In certain parts of the world. Yeah, you're going to have censorship issues. I guess the only way around that, though, I mean, if you live in a place where you have some serious censorship issues, you probably have to do something like Tails. As far as an operating system, just run Tails and try to get around all that. Yeah, you can't wait for Microsoft Edge, says Big Pot. Yeah, you know what? When Edge comes to Linux, I might install it and open it up and just look at it just to see if it works. But come on, nobody on Linux is just dying for Microsoft Edge. It would be interesting to see how many people, what kind of market share they get of Linux browser market share once it comes to Linux. Because I doubt, just knowing the Linux community, how we are, nobody's going to use that thing. You know nobody's going to use it. I'm glad Microsoft wants to bring some of their software to Linux, but at the same time, somebody really should talk to Satya Nadella and some of the folks over at Microsoft. If you guys are putting a lot of resources into bringing Edge to Linux, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting a lot of time and a lot of money, because no one's going to use that thing. Except Big Pod. Every country has a serious censorship issue. Well, some more than others. Yeah. I mean, there are some countries that large portions of the internet are not accessible to you. That's where things like Tails come in handy. Now, I'm not, when I say censorship, I'm talking about government censorship, Liam, right? Where pretty much, IP addresses are just completely banned in your country. You can't go to Google. You can't do a search on Google. You can't do Facebook. You can't go read Twitter. All that stuff is just non-existent in your country because your government has deemed it so. Yeah, Edge will replace the Tor browser. Yeah, I'm sure it will. And Microsoft should focus on bringing Office to Linux. Well, you have Office 365. And couldn't you just do it in the browser? I agree. Desktop clients are always preferable to web clients. When I had to use Office 365 at my workplace, I hated it because they used to have the desktop clients, and then they got away from the desktop clients and put everybody on Office 365. And you know what? Web clients suck. There's no reason why we need to do everything in the damn browser. There are just some things that do not need to be done inside a web browser. You know, I don't need to be working on a spreadsheet inside my web browser. Can you just give me a desktop Office client? If you can't afford to pay Microsoft's fees as far as the desktop Office client, you know what? LibreOffice, right? But you know, you can't get big corporations to listen to you about stuff like that. And they're always going to choose the paid software, the big, you know, Microsoft suites. Yeah, or just let Microsoft Office die already. Well, it kind of is, though. That's why they're moving to Office 365. Microsoft's killing it. You know, they're just putting it all in the web. Actually, it's not even Office 365 anymore. Now it's just Microsoft 365. And you pay $10 a month or whatever it is for the service. They have free accounts. The free accounts don't allow you to do anything, though. So you have to pay pretty much. Yeah. What about WPS? WPS. That you're talking about the Office suite WPS. I've never used it. WPS is not free and open source software either. So it would be strange for me to use that, right? Like, I don't want to use Office because it's proprietary, so I'm going to move to a different proprietary Office suite. No. At that point, why wouldn't you just use LibreOffice? I know people do use WPS on Linux because they say it has good compatibility with Microsoft Office, maybe better compatibility than LibreOffice. Or yeah. But I don't know. I mean, if you really need to use Microsoft Office, then use Microsoft Office. This is one of the things I tell people all the time. Like me personally, I'm a big proponent of free and open source software. I'm going to use it at all costs, whenever possible, unless, you know, proprietary software offers me something I just can't get in a free program. But saying all that, you guys, I'm telling you right now, if your work or school requires Windows or any kind of Windows-only software, keep an installation of Windows around. It just to make your life a little easier. I get it. You want to run Linux, run Linux. Run Linux on your main machine. There's these great things out there called virtual machines. Put Windows in a VM. Install Microsoft Office in that Windows VM. Boom. You're done. Right? Matter of fact, it's a safe way, really, to run Windows and Microsoft Office inside of Windows is to run it in a VM, because then you don't have to worry about viruses and things like that affecting your physical machine too, because it's all in a VM. You know, somebody sends you a virus and it messes up your virtual machine. Oh well, right? It's a virtual machine. Let me spin up another one. Yeah, Mitchell, I haven't used Microsoft software since the last millennium. Yeah. He says, I do like Microsoft mice. I've never used a Microsoft mouse or a Microsoft keyboard. So I have no thoughts on that. I bet BigPod owns both, though. I bet he has a Microsoft mouse and keyboard. I know he's in the chat. He'll let us know here in a second. All right. Super chat from the empty set, and he said it right. Sup. Chillin'. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to kill the stream here in a minute. I actually wasn't planning on being on too long tonight. Really, I knew this was just going to be a very quick video. For the most part, I just wanted to show you guys Riot. It's a cool program, easy to use, installs in seconds. You can start joining these matrix channels right away. And if you want to connect to your favorite IRC channels, as long as they're on one of the 8 networks that they support, including the freenode network, it's not that hard to do either, although we did have some people say that they had trouble connecting to the freenode network in IRC through Riot. Because unfortunately, you're connecting to freenode through matrix, in the Riot client. So it's got an extra layer there that's not there in your standard IRC clients. And again, we did have some people say that they just couldn't get into the room because it was slow or it threw up, some busy messages or something. That's unfortunate. All right, if you guys got anything else you want to get into before we kill the stream, get it in now. So it's forever recorded in the YouTube chat history. Yeah, Big Pod, he doesn't own any Microsoft hardware. Huh. I'm a bit surprised about that. I know Microsoft keyboards are pretty common. I would assume you had one. Yeah, so somebody was asking, anybody knows what the fuss about Telegram is? I mean, there is Messenger, WhatsApp, why another? So does Telegram need to exist? Is that your question? I don't know. I mean, all these messaging clients are all the same. As far as what the big fuss is, Telegram's popular. If you're asking why it's popular, I don't know. I've never used it. If you're asking why people criticize it, it's not exactly free and open source. The client is, I believe the desktop clients, are open source, but the back end is not free and open source. Which means, can you really, it's kind of like Discord we were talking about earlier. Any proprietary platform, can you really trust it? No. As far as if you're thinking everything you do on it is private, that's not really the case. If you don't really care about privacy, yeah, I'm sure it's probably a fine program. Let's see, Stargazer, DT, loved your video on Manjaro. I appreciate that. I haven't done anything on Manjaro lately. I think the last time I did a video about Manjaro was about Manjaro's... Did I do one on their open box edition? And that must have been 6 months ago. Before that, probably the last time I did a video on Manjaro was over a year ago. But I do appreciate that. Manjaro was the distribution I used on my main production machine for most of 2018, the year 2018. Most of 2019, I used Arco Linux on my main production machine. Still am on Arco. All right, does Riot support voice chat? They do. Pretty much everything you can do in Discord, you can do in Riot. You see the little phone call symbol here? Yeah, that starts a voice call. And the little video camera here, that starts a video call. DT, could you tell the specifications on your machine? Well, sure. I'm going to go ahead and kill the Riot chat, so sorry guys that we're hanging out in there. I'm going to kill the stream in just a couple minutes anyway. Well, let's just launch HTOP real quick. Oh, HTOP, I have a 12-core, 24-thread Threadripper. Everybody loves seeing HTOP with the 24 threads running. So, yes, I have 64 gigs of RAM. So that takes care of that. The video card is a Radeon 7. As far as storage, I have a 1 terabyte NVMe in this tower. I also have 6 256 gig SSDs, which I could use to distro hop on. That's originally why I bought them, but I really don't care about distro hopping much anymore. Now I've gotten to the point where I use those extra SSDs just to have separate partitions. Like my music directory, which is more than 100 gigs of music, is on one of those 256 gig SSDs in this machine. It makes distro hopping on my main production machine, or just reinstalling, if something happened to my install of Arco, for example, and I had to reinstall, I don't have to move more than 100 gigs of music, right? Because it's on a separate drive. It just makes things so much easier. All right, I'm going to read a couple more messages and then get out of here. Is Riot easier on RAM and other resources? I couldn't tell you on that. I imagine it's probably about the same. When I used it earlier, it looked all right. Like, I don't think I ever got more than about 3 or 4 gigs of RAM used, and I had a browser open with that. That's about normal. Like if I had Discord and a browser open on my machine, I got a lot of RAM though, 64 gigs of RAM, so it might be why it was using that much. 3 or 4 gigs might sound like a lot. It's really not. For example, when I edit a video in Kdenlive, my machine often is using 16, 18 gigs of RAM while I'm editing in Kdenlive. Yeah, do you steal or something like that to get all that RAM? I wish I had stolen it. Unfortunately, I had to pay for that 64 gigs of RAM, and it ain't cheap. Yeah, thanks for the great stream, DT. Thanks, Vin. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, you're right. Somebody said, "Where is the fall song?" I was about to shut down the stream, and yeah, we can't leave just yet. I don't have the sheet music up. It's a very simple tune. I could play it by ear, I'm sure, but just on the off chance, I don't want to mess anything up. Let me pull up a PDF. So I'm going to Google the free software song PDF, and right here on the GNU website. All right. Join us now. Okay. Ow. Might have cracked something. A glass desk. I slammed my recorder down on it. There's your free software song. I appreciate that, Donnie. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Before I go, I do want to thank all you guys hanging out in the YouTube chat. There's still like 250 of you guys here at the end of the stream, still hanging out. Appreciate that. I need to quickly thank all of these names that are going to fly by on the screen, all my Patreon supporters. All right, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. All right, peace, guys. Join us now and share the software. You'll be free hackers.